love ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday, June 10th edition of the show. We're going a little early once again with our live stream, because if you're watching our live stream, you'll notice I'm not in my usual studio, either at 94.3 The Game or at my house. I am in Baltimore, Maryland for Mariners Orioles. My 4-year-old son Slater staying in the Inner Harbor. So we are a little bit off the beaten path here, a little bit unknown. I don't have my usual mic. We had some technical issues getting on this show, pre-show, so here we are. But we did make it, and we've got our usual cast and crew as we're live streaming a little early today. We are going to go our normal platform for YouTube, Facebook, X, our podcast channels. You can find the show there as well. But joined by our typical Wednesday crew, we've got Philip Studios, and we've got James Gilio hanging out as well, and he's got a different background too. So we'll start with James. James, where are you at this time?
Well, I'm still in my house, but I'm in my room instead of my brother's room because he's still sleeping. So
there you go. Just still sleeping at 10 a.m. I guess did Gilio sleep in?
He graduates high school tomorrow. So I think this is his last day pretty much of freedom, high schooler. So.
That's fair. That's fair. Philip Hilgen back in 94.3 The Game Studios. He's doing his best to make sure that we're holding things together here. I'm on like 5 meg internet. I've got my son in the background making weird noises. So hopefully this is all coming through okay, Philip.
Yeah, so far so good. We did have one little hiccup in there. You lagged for a second. It was just while you were introducing me, so that's all good. And, it's good to have Slater in the background. He's making his Hoist the Colors debut. I think the Dogs have already made their Hoist the Colors debut in the past, and now Slater gets to make his.
No doubt, no doubt. And we had a lot of fun last night at O's. We'll get to that in a minute. Do want to talk some Hurricanes to start off with as well. Just to kind of set this tone for today's show, we are planning to have our 2027 look ahead with the roster, and we did this a little bit on the Bucks on the Pond show on Monday night. We'll do kind of a further eval. We've got some new news on a couple of guys who are also announced as coming back, so we'll dive into kind of position by position the state of the roster for 2027. We'll start that look really next segment for Pirate Baseball in 2027. But let's lead, guys, with the Carolina Hurricanes hockey close to home. They lost, obviously, a heartbreaker in Game 3, had to bounce back and found a way in Game 4 to even the series at 2 games apiece. And by doing that, it turns into a best-of-3, and they've got home ice for those final 3 games. Obviously, they'll go to Game 5 at home, have to return to Vegas for Game 6. But if there is a Game 7, we'll get that in Carolina. So a big performance last night. Stahl continues to somehow defy the aging process. He's been crucial. And obviously the Canes find a way to win with some drama. 5-3 the final. They get the goal late when Vegas pulled the goalie. But we'll kind of go around the horn here. Thoughts on the game. We'll start with James.
Yeah, thoughts on the game. Really thoughts on the series is, this has been 4 of the best Stanley Cup. 4 of the best games I've seen ever to a final in really any sport. I know the Super Bowl and there's always some one game, but when it's the best of 7 series, I think this is probably the best 4 games, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this shapes out, and at the end of it, see where it ranks among the best Stanley Cup final matches ever. But the overall takeaway for the Carolina Hurricanes for me is, Jordan Stahl has just absolutely balled out in the series. I saw his 2 goals last night. The second one he had where he was falling away, that was one of the craziest pure effort goals I think I've ever seen. And I was looking at DraftKings, and I'm honestly surprised that he's only plus 550 to win the Conn Smythe. And I feel like he's scored every game, I believe. But last night they did what they had to do. It was a must-win game. Now they have all the momentum back, and 2-2. Everyone says the next most important game after Game 7 is that 2-2 Game 5, and they have it at home. So it'll be interesting to see what they do on Thursday.
Philip, your thoughts on the game from what you were able to watch?
Yeah, it's interesting. James brought up how interesting the series has been. there's not been a single game in this series where the score's been 1-1. The team who scored the first goal has scored the second goal. The other team has at least found a way to tie the game in every single game this series. And in games 1 and 2, the team that went up 2-0 actually lost the game. So, look, this is an interesting Stanley Cup Finals. Because of that, it doesn't feel like any lead is safe. But not that there's not been some physicality, but it's very open. It's very fast. I thought last night, especially, like it was a lot of back and forth. It kind of feels a little bit like regular season hockey in a way. And that's how last night felt. And the tough thing about that is it makes this really tough to predict. I think both teams are equally kind of from a skill set. They're pretty close. And it comes down to goaltending, which Brandon Bussey was phenomenal last night. And it comes down to just creating the right plays and giving yourself more scoring opportunities than your opponent because, again, there's not really been, I shouldn't say lack of flow because the game does feel flowy, but there's not been, this just sustained, long, drawn-out zone time and tough physical defense. It's a lot of back and forth, and it's made it really good, especially for the casual viewer.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say as a non-hockey guy, I find myself as more of a casual viewer. But this has been, like James said, great hockey. And I guess now the biggest thing is do we find a way to extend it for 7 games total? I don't know. I just feel like this is destined to go 7. I keep saying Canes in 6, and it's one of those things, James, where I do think they'll have a chance to close out 6 because I see them winning Game 5. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping as a non-biased fan for either side that they find a way to wrap this up, or that it goes 7 from the viewer perspective. Even though I know Canes fan want to go 6.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat as you. I'm more of that casual hockey fan and just rooting for every series to go to 7 games. And I think that's the collision course right now. I could see Carolina win Game 5, but Vegas isn't going to go down, sad in Game 6. They're going to have home ice. They have a bunch of experienced players. They won the Stanley Cup 3 years ago, so they know what it takes, with their backs against the wall to win this thing. And the Hurricanes don't have some of those players. Don't have as many of those players that Vegas does. So I mean, this best of 3 down the stretch. I mean, these are going to be some of the most important hockey games that these guys have ever played. I'm very excited to see how it plays out. I am leaning Carolina in 7 though. When every team wins the home game.
Feels like it could go 7 for sure. And I don't know, Philip. You want the Canes to win, I think, because you got a lot of friends who are Canes fans. You're in Carolina, but are you kind of hoping this goes 7 as well?
Yeah, to an extent, right? Like you definitely like you guys said, maybe go down as one of the greatest Stanley Cup Finals of all time. And seems not having to go 7. Look, guys, I said it I think I said it midway through Game 3. I looked at Thomas. Actually, when Game 3 went to overtime, I said this will be the first Stanley Cup Finals to ever go overtime Game 7. So I'm sticking to that prediction. I'm going Canes in 7 in OT in the Lenovo Center, and it'll be one of the more memorable Stanley Cup moments, regardless of who wins, if it does go to overtime, because it's never happened in Game 7 of the Finals.
The real question is, when is James Giglio going to make an appearance in the Lenovo Center? We keep talking about James. Game 5, this is the time, man.
I know. I went to the watch party for Game 3, and we actually left. Well, yeah, it was Game 3 when we actually left early because they were down 4-0. I know. We left when they were down 4-0. We went to my friend's apartment, and I was literally getting ready to call an Uber, and they scored 3 goals in a minute while I'm on the Uber app. I'm like, I guess I gotta stay and watch, and then they end up losing in double overtime. So I guess. For me going to a game, I don't know. The prices are getting crazy, but maybe I fork something over for a Game 7 appearance.
Not as crazy as Madison Square Garden. I mean, that was
yeah. I got some friends going tonight.
At MSG?
At MSG,
How much are the tickets?
I don't know. No, they did buy them. Look, I think the tickets went up when the Knicks took games 1 and 2 on the road, and they did buy them before that. This is something they actually decided the second they went to the finals. So some friends of the family, the son is 22, and he called his dad up and was like, Dad, I'll make you a deal. If you pay for your ticket, I'll pay for mine. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, they're from New York. They can fly cheap out of Concord up to Long Island, stay at Grandma's house. So it's a free trip pretty much, other than like the $80 point ticket, other than the game tickets. But I have no idea what they paid. But again, they paid them before the Knicks took game 1 and game 2, so I think they paid a reasonable-ish amount of money compared to what it is now, $25,000 or something for a lower level.
It's insane, man. It's insane. But the Knicks making the finals, this will do it. Wags in the chat. He says Canes in 6, Spurs in 7. It's my world now. He's a Spurs and Canes fan. Don't get too cocky, Wags, because it could come crashing down in a hurry. I can tell you that.
Hey, he's a Nationals and a Commanders fan. This is all he's got. Let him live his life.
Hey, the Nationals won the World Series.
That's true. 7 years ago.
The Nats are
more
also
recently than the
the
Red
playoffs.
Sox and Yankees.
That is true.
If the season ended today. Speaking of the Nationals, I saw last night there was a Steven Strasburg Washington Nationals World Series jersey in a section that I was sitting in. We were moving around the ballpark, Mariners, Orioles, just a regular season baseball game, guys. But I thought I forgot how much I like Camden Yards. Have you guys been to Camden?
Yeah, I've been a few times, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
I've never been.
It's the bullpen setup is great. Utah Street is amazing, and like just the whole. I just love the way the ballpark sets up, man. There's great sight lines. They've got like really the outfield almost feels like a completely different park than anywhere on the infield. And the Mariners won, so I was happy. They tried to blow it 6-5. They had a 4-2 lead. I told Philip my concern going into the game was that they used all their top bullpen guys pretty exhaustively on Monday's game, so it'd be tough to win a close Tuesday game. So they blow the lead, go to extras. Randy Arozarena hit a go-ahead home run to right field, a 2-run shot. And we were actually standing on the little platform on Utah Street where Randy hit the home run. So that was pretty sick. But Mariners win it. They're playing better. But it was just good to be at a ball game. We're going again tonight. Nothing like MLB. And James, I don't know, are you surprised at how kind of poor the Orioles have been the last year plus with all these? Like they were kind of seen as the team in the AL East for the future. Like a lot of their young guys just haven't produced.
Yeah, in 2023, I think, is when they won 100 games, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked like the future was super bright. They had all those top picks. And it kind of looked like they were going to become maybe the Oklahoma City of the MLB. And the last couple of years, I mean, really disappointing. Last year, extremely disappointing. And then this year they go out, they get Pete Alonso. And I don't really know his numbers this year to be top of my head, but I haven't really heard much of him. So I'm not expecting great numbers. And their record in the standings right now is not obviously where they want to be, but it's still early June. Any team can get hot at the right time. Maybe they make a trade at the deadline. But the last couple of years, at least the last 2 years, have definitely been disappointing considering what they did in 2023, and that trajectory is just not what people expected.
Yeah, like Jackson Holiday, for all the hype, has just been kind of mid, and even Gunnar Henderson, while he's had his moments, has been okay. And I don't know, it's been hard to Tyler O'Neill was one of the worst players in MLB. He grounded to a double play last night in a crucial spot and struck out in the game in extras. So it was just like I don't dislike the Orioles. I kind of would like to see them do well, but I don't know. I mean, you're a fellow AL East guy as well, Philip. Like I feel like a lot of that division, and again, it's super early, has been disappointing this year. Even the Blue Jays have been hovering below 500 most of the year.
Yeah, so to answer your question real quick there, James. Yeah, everybody with the Rays. 320 on-base percentage, hitting 239. He does have 13 jacks, but OPS well under 800 there for Pete Alonso. Yeah, Steven, the interesting thing is everything that James just said about Baltimore, you kind of felt that way, too, about Toronto a couple years back. Not to the level that you felt at Baltimore, but it was like this is going to be Baltimore's division for the next decade. And if they slip up, here's going to be the Blue Jays. Well, Bo Bichette's gone. He wasn't great there, in his time. They still got Vlad, and he's been good, but he's not been maybe as good as he was when he first came up. And, the nice thing is, we're sitting here bagging on them. They just lost Game 7 of the World Series. But, I don't know, man. The Rays are back to the old Rays from, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And, everybody else, man, the Yankees are the Yankees. They're fine, but Judge just got hurt, so we know it's June. So here go the wheels falling off. The Red Sox, couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. They've let up 7 runs total the last 2 days, and they're 0-2 in those games. And yeah, man, Baltimore. I feel bad for our guy Bobby. That's all I got to say.
James, Ken, on your Yankees. We're going to get to ECU baseball next segment. But Aaron Judge injury. How you feeling, man?
Not great, but if he was going to get hurt, I'm glad it's in June, early June, considering he could have gotten hurt in August or September, and we'd be dealing with a way bigger issue. He's also only going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. It sucks because he's probably not going to win MVP anymore. It would have been his 3rd straight. But it could have been his 5th straight if he didn't get hurt in 2023 either. So injuries, I think, have cost him 2 MVPs. But besides that, I mean, I'm glad it's going to happen now instead of in August or September.
Long way to go in the baseball season. Still, close to 100 games left, but at least we're getting to the point where we can start paying attention somewhat to the standings. So we'll talk a lot of MLB throughout June. Let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll switch gears. ECU baseball, critical offseason ahead. Obviously, new pitching coach. We discussed that at length, but how is the roster shaping up? We'll hit on that. After this, starting with some position players, this is Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. It is another segment, Hoist the Colors. We'll dive more into ECU baseball talk specifically now as we roll on the program today. Wednesday show, again, live streaming early today. Will be archived in our normal spots and also on radio at our normal 12 noon time slot, 94.3 The Game. We've got James Giglio, we've got Philip Pilkington alongside, and I'm in Baltimore. If you're wondering what my background is, why my audio is not as crisp, it's because we're recording on the go. Let's dive into the ECU baseball roster, guys, I think there's been 16 guys who have announced. Luke Payne and Chance Hall announcing yesterday through ECU Baseball that they expect to run it back. Just to give a little bit more background here, just because they announced and they've signed contracts for 2027 does not mean they can still get drafted and they can still move on. So if Luke Payne gets a big deal, he could still move on to the pros. I don't know how realistic that is, but we are waiting official word on Davin Whitaker and Walker Barron. I heard earlier this week and said so that Barron kind of 50-50. Whitaker, I would lean more towards he's back than not. But just because a guy like Towers, just because a guy like Payne announces they return doesn't mean they can still get or can't get drafted. So just wanted to clarify that as well. Let's hit the position player side first, gentlemen. Here are the position players who have announced they will be back. Nick Parham, Colby Wallace at third, Alex Peltier in the outfield, Grady Linehan in the outfield, Braxton Trammell plays basically second, third outfield. Braden Burris, we know, can play second or outfield. Braden Bachman, DH/outfielder. Jack Vogely, outfielder. And I believe that is it as far as the returning players. Again, waiting on Davin Whitaker, waiting on Walker Barron, and also
Nick Parham has announced that he's staying.
Yeah. I think I said him. But if,
my bad.
He did.
If not,
He did, yeah.
Okay. He was my first. I think I'm going down numerically, so he was my first. That's it. But either way, ECU in a spot, guys, where you have a decent amount of position players coming back here. We'll start with you, James, before we dive into kind of position by position. Your thoughts on that list thus far?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not totally moved right now. Obviously, you can go pick up whoever in the transfer portal. I think the two biggest needs, I would say, going into this is first baseman, power hitting first baseman. I saw the depth chart you sent us. Yeah, Braxton Trammell at third. He's power hitting. I don't know if I'd want him playing at first. I don't know if he's that strong at that position just because he hasn't played in a couple years. And then also the big one, and this is really no disrespect whatsoever, but you cannot go into the 2027 season with Nick Parham as your starting shortstop. I was against bringing him back in the first place just because of how bad he was during the regular season. But you cannot go. This is an unserious baseball program. If you go into next season, he's your starting shortstop. I'll just say that plainly how it is. He cannot be the starting shortstop next year. Those are my main two takeaways, though, is first base and you need a shortstop.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, look, from what I've heard, they are 100% going to try to find a shortstop via the portal. Now, I feel like I heard the same thing last year and it didn't materialize. So basically, I'm going to believe it when I see it. Now, they do have a lot of incoming infielders, but as you guys know, it's hard to trust infielders. Like, you got Braden Martin, you got Shane Monaghan, and you got Josh Mazingo. I think Mazingo would be most likely to be able to step in and play, but he's got some developmental work to do from a physical perspective if he doesn't get drafted as well. There's a slight draft risk there, from my understanding. So I just want to see them go get a we're talking about needs. I'm with you, man. Shortstop is obvious. I mean, because they seem reluctant to try Braden Burris there. I guess they don't think he has the arm strength. And I don't really know if there's another fit on the roster at shortstop outside of what's coming in, Philip. So that's my obvious number one need is shortstop. And then what else stands out to you as we look at this projected depth chart early on?
Yeah, technically, if you had to go in with just the roster you have right now, I think you would attempt to move Colby Wallace or Braxton Trammell over there. We saw the Colby Wallace thing didn't go great at the beginning of last season, but also it was like a 3 or 4 game sample size. So I think that's kind of your worst case scenario, right? Maybe Braxton at third, Colby at short. Power hitting first baseman, obviously, that guy could already be on your roster. Could Trammell play first? Could Davin play first? But the big thing is the catcher depth. And even if you have Walker Barron back next year, you got 2 freshmen coming in, you still need an experienced catcher. And you also need a backup. Do you trust that either one of these incoming freshmen can catch 9 innings a week? And we need the situation that we were in with Justin Wilcoxon and Ryan McChrystal, where Ryan would usually catch that Saturday game and give J-Dub's legs a day off. And because of that, J-Dub did not fall off at a batting average at the end of the season as Walker Barron has the last couple of years. Again, not Barron's fault. He's just beat up. He's still got a little pop when he has to. We saw that against Tennessee and that ball that still probably hasn't landed yet. But I think that's the big thing is depth at catcher because you don't want to lose a pretty solid hitting catcher at the end of the season to where he goes from a solid hitting catcher to a slightly below average hitting catcher.
And I think for all of Colby Wallace's issues with the home runs this year, like, I think he went up in RBIs. He definitely went up in doubles, went down in strikeouts. So I think you'll take that third base glove. And, I think you want him to hit more than one home run next year. There's no doubt about that. Like, hopefully he at least gets back to 5 or 6. He hit 10 in 2025, and then he goes to 1. So, I think at least you could find a happy medium there. And then maybe you get more production from Trammell, whether he plays first or whether he plays a corner outfield in the power category. I just think he's got real power. I think Linehan could go up in power. Somebody in the comments said ECU needs somebody who can hit 15 home runs next year. And I agree. That'd be nice. I do think Braxton Trammell can be that guy. Health is a concern. If Davin Whitaker comes back, I feel like he's a guy who could hit 12 or more as well. I mean, he definitely played a full-time role this year, James, but I still think there's more there too. I feel like he kind of fell off a tick at the end, towards the end, kind of got a little worn down. Left on left pitching wasn't great. So any other power threats? Bachman, I could see him making a jump. Vogely, kind of the unknown there. Both those guys are back. You're losing Kalinic, so maybe they get more shots at DH, corner outfield. That's who I'm kind of looking at for maybe some more power, along with a transfer batter too.
Yeah, I was going to say Braden Bachman, but I was also going to ask with Trammell, when was the last time he played? I really can't put my finger on it.
Saturday game against Charlotte last year.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a while since he's played, and by the time next season rolls around, it's going to be pretty much 2 years. So, I mean, how much do you really trust if we go in next season, Braxton Trammell, a guy who hasn't played in 2 years, to be our leader in home runs, and especially for a team this year who struggled with power hitting. So I would like to see them go out for sure. I mean, it's the obvious answer, right? It's not easy. It's easier said than done to go out and get a guy that can hit 15, home runs. And I think Davin Whitaker can be that guy. He seemed to have progressed every year in his time at ECU. Obviously, he has to come back first. But like you said, he did get a little worn down. But I think, with another season of, off-season training and whatever progression like he has been showing, maybe he can be that guy for ECU going forward. But right now, I just wouldn't trust the Braxton Trammell card just because of the injury concern.
He is playing this summer for the Newport Goals of the New England Collegiate League. So it'll at least be interesting to see how he does there. I'm just telling you guys, man, his BP in the regional was unreal. And it's batting practice. But just raw power, it's like night and day above any other guy on the roster. Now, that doesn't equate to hitting home runs off breaking balls and legit pitching, but just saying he's got the potential. The one thing I do like is, Trammell can play second, can play third, corner outfield. Burris can play outfield, second base as well. So, that versatility to me, Vogely can play corner outfield, DH. Whitaker, maybe he learns first base more if he comes back. So, I do feel like maybe that gives the staff the chance to go out and find a power hitter, but not just one who's locked into a specific spot. You've got some versatility with the roster, Philip.
You do. The tough thing, though, Steven, is it feels like we've got versatility, but everybody who's versatile plays the same positions, right? Like the amount of corner outfielders between Davin Whitaker, Jack Vogely, Alex Peltier, Braxton Trammell, you're only going to start one left fielder and one right fielder. Grady's going to start in center. This probably puts Braden at second. Now, again, some of those guys can play third, but Colby's kind of got that on lock. So, I get what you're saying, Steven, but also, we need a legit shortstop, and we need somebody to play first base. Again, you can teach somebody to play first base. Taught Carter Cunningham how to play first base. It can be done, right? But if Davin or Trammell doesn't move over to first, I think we're pretty set at every position, but obviously catcher, but that's its own deal. But short and first. I mean, that's kind of where you need. So, yes, there is versatility to be had, but also you have enough where I feel like you just need somebody who's damn good at shortstop and can mash at first base. That's the problem.
So, ultimately, biggest need is for the position player side. Shortstop, I think we all can agree there. Molly said the same thing yesterday. I think that's where if I had a guy who could – if I had the most money to spend, that's where I'd spend it. I agree, power hitting, first baseman, some sort of profile like that. And then for me, it's catcher because with the unknown of Walker Barron, the last thing I want is to rely, as good as they are, on freshmen coming back. And so I'm going out and I'm getting a proven catcher, and it's nothing against Walker Barron, James. It's just like if you don't have a catcher, specifically one that can catch and throw guys out, it doesn't really matter how good your team is. If you don't have a catcher in baseball, you're going to lose a lot of baseball games.
Yeah, and catcher is, like you just said, the most important position, one of the hardest positions in all of sports, really. And like Philip said with Walker Barron, you want to always have that second reliable catcher. And I think since we didn't have that last year, it kind of, like Philip said, worn down on Barron, and you saw his numbers go down. And so you also want to go out and get one, even if Barron comes back, just so you have the two. And I would honestly go out and target multiple, try and bring in maybe two. And then if Barron comes back, that's just an extra luxury. Because also Barron isn't the strongest hitter just to begin with. So maybe you look for maybe a power hitting catcher. I know that's not exactly easy to come by in the college game, but if you maybe stumble upon a Cal Raleigh of the college game.
Cal, a big dumper in Greenville. I do know ECU had a catcher on campus Tuesday, and so I'm hoping that there's some good news to follow there, and I think he would be potentially a good addition if it works out. So we'll keep an eye on that. This was my question on the Bucks on the Pond. Final thing before we get a break in and shift to pitching. This time last year, nobody was talking about Davin Whitaker being a key piece. So, my question is, who is the next Davin Whitaker? He was basically an unknown. And you look at some of these names coming back. This is hard to predict, obviously, because nobody would have expected Whitaker. Could it be an incoming freshman? Sure, but I almost look more at kind of just the Bachman, the Vogely, the Jack Strom, if he's back. Peltier, we heard a lot, had a really good fall. There's going to be one of those guys that develops and just has a breakout year, because that's ECU baseball, Philip. So I don't know if anybody jumped to mind, or is it just a wait and see?
I think you kind of mentioned the guys there, and we kind of know, we're not really talking about Bachman, but we have typed him up, I don't think it's an outfielder. I think if anybody, it's an infielder. I don't know. Is Brett Beasley back? I know he redshirted. I know Craddock's gone as far as infielders. I'm trying to almost find an infielder that maybe steps in and is the shortstop of the future. Is Beasley back?
So as of today, he has not been cut into the portal. He is playing for the Yard Gnomes. Him and Strom are. So I don't know what the roster numbers say, but he's still on the projected roster as of today.
Okay.
And so he's another guy who could play second, third, outfield. I don't know how he projects a shortstop, but we just got to find a shortstop. That's what it comes down to.
That's the thing. Yeah, I'm with you. 'Cause everybody else, maybe it's Jack Strom, but I don't know. To answer who's going to be the next guy, if it's Vogely or somebody like that, is that really the same thing as Davin Whitaker? We thought Whitaker was going to hang out for one more year and then 100% transfer. We see what Vogely's also a grad student, but we've heard what Vogely can be. Bachman's young, but he was hyped up coming in. I don't know, man. It's an under the radar guy. I don't really have a good answer for you.
Scott Lorbatcher in the chat, James, says Nick Parham will be the 2027 Davin Whitaker. Are you buying this?
No chance.
Go watch your Reds there, Scott.
I love Nick Parham and everything he stands for. Great locker room guy. And I'd be fine if Nick Parham was maybe a second baseman, but just give me a shortstop, man. I just want a shortstop that can just make the throw in the hole. I just want a shortstop that, when the ball is hit into the 6 hole, I don't have to hold my breath. Is that too much to ask?
You want a basic fundamental shortstop is what you're asking for.
Yeah.
It is not too much to ask. No.
That is my goal. Even if he doesn't hit, man, I just want the plays to be made. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. Pitching is actually shaping up pretty well for the Pirates entering 2027, although there are some caveats there. We'll hit on that after this. This is Hoist the Colors.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hoist the sail! Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors. Ahoy, me hearties! Back to Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in segment 3 here of Hoist the Colors. Appreciate you guys joining us a little early if you're on our live stream. We're on 12 noon, 94.3 The Game. Audio not as crisp today. I'm on the road in Baltimore. Final day here, so I'll be back in studio or in my home studio tomorrow on Thursdays. Appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate James Giglio, Philip Pilkinen with us as well a little early, and will be archived on our podcast channels as always too. We're running down the ECU baseball 2027 roster, kind of a look ahead. We talked position players last segment. Let's get more into the pitching side of things. The pitchers have announced they're coming back are as follows: Ryan Towers, Brett Antolik. If you want to include Colby Wallace as a two-way guy, bullpen guy, he would be on that list too. Pirates also get back Ethan Rose, Colby Weber, Sean Jenkins, both of whom, Weber and Jenkins, coming off injuries. I don't expect Jenkins to be available next year. I do expect, based on latest intel, Weber to be back hopefully for the start of the season. I'm expecting him to have a internal brace versus Tommy John, which would put him on more of a 7 to 8 month timeline versus 12 to 18. Thomas Paxton, reliever down the stretch. Luke Payne announced yesterday he plans to be back. We have not seen an official announcement from Charlie Hoagland. I've heard he's most likely back, but not official yet. And then Gabe Beschloss, who missed the season with an injury, has not announced anything yet either. So there is your pitching rundown. I don't know if I mentioned Antolik, but he's on that list as well. I may have mentioned him earlier, but either way, I feel like for pitching, and again, there will be needs here, which we'll get into, James, but like just given what we knew was going to leave and Ethan Norby and some older guys, I feel pretty good about what's coming back here, although there are some, potential injury concerns.
Yeah, there are some question marks right now. Just looking at this depth chart, Towers being right now, I guess your Friday guy going into next year, assuming you don't bring in, some superstar pitcher. And Tolek, injury concerns. I know he's got nasty stuff when healthy. Another question about the injury. Colby Weber, who I thought was good last year, again, another guy dealing with injury. But just looking down at this bullpen, Ethan Rose, Thomas Paxton. I mean, these are guys. I mean, Charlie Hoagland. I mean, these are guys that were kind of just whatever last year. So I mean, I would feel good about it right now, just knowing that we were going to lose Norby and potentially Jenkins, having Jenkins come back, even though he's not playing. And this is the shape of it right now. And obviously, you can go out and pick up guys. But right now, there's too many question marks for me to feel truly like this bullpen can be truly special next year, or this pitching staff can be truly special next year. But I'm obviously going to go out and pick up some guys. But right now, there's too many question marks for me.
Philip, your initial thoughts on the pitching as we know today?
You know, when you look at it right now on June the 10th, there's probably not many teams in the country that feel better than you do. Now, to James's point, there's plenty of questions. There's still things that need to be answered. I would like to see them go get one more starter. You need 3 to 4 more bullpen arms. But the fact that if right now you had to go out there and say, if all healthy, do you have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday guy? I think you do. Because you've got Towers, Antolik, Weber, and then Payne to start the midweek. Because Payne can get you one time through the order. And we saw it early in the year with Towers this year. We finally had a midweek starter, and things were going good from a pitching standpoint at that time until he had to be moved, obviously, to the weekend. Not that he wasn't still good, but, you know. So I like having Payne there as that Tuesday kind of opener starter role. Yeah, you need more arms, a lot of questions, but hey, this is not a bad spot to be in on June 10th.
I think that's the biggest thing is like college baseball pitching depth. I mean, does it even really exist? If you look team by team. Now, if you're North Carolina, if you're like the elite teams, yes, it does to an extent. Those teams have 7 to 8 legit arms that they can count on. But I mean, there are teams in Omaha right now that probably don't have more than 3 or 4 arms, 3, 4, 5 arms that they really trust. Now, the difference is those arms give them length and they didn't get hurt. And I mean, that's my biggest concern with this situation is like, if you told me 100% that Weber was going to be good for all of next year, that if Antolik was going to be the same guy that we saw, you know, from the conference tournament on, you had healthy Colby Weber and Towers, you know, coming off the biggest workload of his career is healthy. Like, I would feel great about that. But those, to me, are just unknowns given their track record. So that's what concerns me. Payne, I like the stuff. The strike throwing concerns me. The bullpen is what it is. I mean, look, when have you ever gone into a season feeling good about the ECU bullpen? So I feel like that's just something that will have to be developed. But at least you do have some guys who have pitched in some decent situations. And I don't know, like, I like the potential. It's just the injury history concerns me, and the fact that you've got a new pitching coach in Jake Agnos. Like, I trust in Cliff Godwin with that move, but is he going to be able to help Payne take the next step? Is he going to be able to take Weber and Tolik to take the next step? You know, that's just my unknown right now going into 2027. But I do like this stuff, and I like the potential. And I think if you can marry that with, hey, 1 to 2 more starting guys in the portal, you know, 3, 4 more arms that can relieve. And, you know, just to give some perspective here, they're bringing in Wickstrom from JUCO. He's a starting candidate, pitched really well at the JUCO level last year as a starter. And then Lorenz, kind of an older slider, strikeout guy at the back end of the bullpen from JUCO as well. So those are a few arms that they already have that they will marry with this, but then you obviously want them to try to go get some transfer guys as well. So, like, I can talk myself into it. I just need, like, maybe more of a proven healthy guy in the portal as a starter and a few more relievers, and I would feel good to great about it, James. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the assessment I had, too, is I feel like if you go out and get – I mean, it's obviously easier said than done, right? And I do actually like the Jake Agnos hire. I know I saw you and when Brady was on talk about it on Monday. I like the hire. I like the internal hire. He's a guy been around the program, so I'll just put that out there. But yeah, I think you need to go out, get a couple more arms, maybe go out and get a couple proven guys. That I don't really know. Like for the bullpen, you don't want to have to be in this spot next year or like a little earlier, like in May, where you're like, okay, all of our top guys are hurt, and we have no reliable pitching in the bullpen. I feel like we just don't want to go through that same cycle. And it's obviously college baseball, like we're talking about. Like it's so unpredictable. I think college baseball is the most unpredictable sport, really. I mean, in ever, like in any sport. So I don't know. I'm there's a lot of question marks for me, but like you guys said, there's not many other schools out there right now that have probably in a better situation than we are just in the month of June, right?
And we saw ECU last year, rely on some freshman arms. And I'm not saying ECU is going to do that again, but the ECU does have, let's count it, 5 freshman arms coming in: Jason Krusick, Carter Purdue, Jack Goddard Stoner, Jason Sproul, and Jackson Rupert. And not all these guys are going to be able to contribute day one, but like a lot of these guys have good velo, good stuff. And I would say history suggests, and look, as closely as I follow the program, Philip, I don't know a ton about incoming freshman baseball players just because it's hard to get info. Like, I'm sure we'll hear some in the fall, but like history would suggest to me maybe 2 or 3 of these guys contribute next year in a pretty viable way. And like that's something too. We got a big freshman class, and we just don't really know. Like, it's not like these guys get star rankings or like we get a bunch of film like we do football recruits. So it's hard to know, but I would venture to say a few of these freshmen are going to make an impact too. And then you couple that with the portal, and maybe you feel even better.
Yeah, you had a couple freshmen make an impact this year. You've had it in the past. Look, if you do everything we already talked about, and 2 of those 5 guys are at least, hey man, we're up 4 against a team who's not great. Can you give me 2 starters out? Can you bridge it between the starter and the and whoever our closer is? If you can get 2 of those guys to be that, fine. Or hey, we're already getting beat, just get us out of here enough to where we can only use you. Keep your pitch count low enough that you can stay in there and we don't have to use anybody else. Yeah, man, if those are the roles these guys have, that's great. Especially now, the tough thing is you now have the Agnos track record, which is nothing. It's not good nor bad, as opposed to the AK track record where you had plenty of guys that were that their freshman year, Trey Savage, and then turned out to be great. But so you want them to obviously mold between years 1 and 2. But yeah, if 2 of these guys are at least inning eaters, you feel good if you get all the stuff in the portal we talked about.
All right, so I got a question for you guys. Assuming Sean Jenkins doesn't throw next year, again, I haven't 100% confirmed it, but everybody I've talked to has said it was Tommy John. He will likely miss next season as a result. That means he will be draft eligible next summer at age 20. He will have just turned 20. He just turned 19, I think last month or in April. Yeah, April 18th. So he will be a younger than normal redshirt sophomore at that point, and 20 years old. Do y'all think he pitches again in the East Carolina uniform? Is my question, because he could go in the draft next year probably pretty high just off his age and his upside, or he could come back as a redshirt sophomore and go through his age 21 season. To me, he could still pitch himself into a first-round pick. I don't know if he's a first-round pick. Probably not off Tommy John, given his workload in college. So I think there's pros and cons here, and I'm just throwing it out there as a question that I get asked a lot. What do you think, James?
Yeah, this is a tough question. Are we going to see him ever play again? Obviously, Tommy John, he's not playing this year. It just depends on which way you lean. I'm going to say no. I think he goes to the draft just because upside young, just because, like you said, with his age. But maybe the reason he could come back is, maybe his projection's just not that high because of Tommy John. And he wants to maybe has a little prove-it year. And he shoots himself up to the first round or early second round.
I could see him coming back solely because he would still have the leverage, right? He would still have that kind of junior of leverage, but yeah, I'd be shocked. I really would. I think a team's going to take him in the 10th round. They're going to say, hey, we want to get our staff's hands on you now. We don't want you going to college next year. We don't want some pitching coach who's not our pitching coach to be coaching you to develop any. They're going to view it as potential bad habits. They're going to want a guy like that with that much upside in their spring training the following year. He's not going to play big league baseball for a few years, but no, I think he's 100% drafted 10th, 12th round, maybe at worst, and we never see him in a collegiate baseball uniform again.
And if that's the case, it comes down to, hey, how much is that team offering signing bonus wise versus if you become a first round pick, you're talking, you know, $3 to $5 million, if not higher, as a signing bonus. It's just, and I think he could get there. The issue is he would have to come back off surgery and prove. You know, right now, if I was a major league team, I could see him as a potential starter, but I'd want to see him prove he could be a Friday night guy to be a first round pick. Because right now, you know, he can effectively relieve. I just want to see him prove he can be a starter. So that more of a long-term question, but something I wanted to ask while we hit on pitching. Let's get our final break in, guys. We'll come back. We will wrap up the show after this.
The power of savings is yours at Greenville Toyota with powerful deals on our huge selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or the all-new RAV4, $279. Don't miss the power of savings at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
With new Toyota trucks from $259 a month, you've got the power of savings at Greenville Toyota. Drive Tacomas $259 a month or Tundras only $399 a month at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Like all pirates, Stephen Igo is loyal and bold. He may also have a touch of scurvy. Back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Final few minutes of the show here. We've got James Gilio, Philip Pilkington alongside. We're talking about Sean Jenkins' situation. Seems likely to miss the next year. And good point here in the chat from Scott Lorbadger from Bucks on the Pond. He says he could go the Gavin Williams route. Yeah, Gavin could have gone high in the draft. He bet on himself going into his redshirt junior year. Ended up pitching himself into a first-round pick and signed for well over $2 million. So that if I'm ECU, that's what I would argue. To try to get Jenkins back coming off that surgery, but we'll see how it plays out in time. James and Philip, we've talked some NHL. We haven't really hit on Nick Spurs specifically outside of just MSG being crazy. James, you're a big NBA guy. How much have you enjoyed this series and who takes it tonight? I mean, it feels like, I don't want to say like a must-win for the Knicks because they have won 2 already in San Antonio, but if you lose this one, then that pressure starts to really, really ramp up on you.
Yeah, this has been just a big picture on this NBA Finals. This has definitely been the most exciting NBA Finals, most anticipated since those LeBron, Curry days. I mean, the last couple of years in the NBA Finals, I know last year went to 7, but the Halliburton injury really derailed that. So this has definitely been this has felt like a vintage NBA Finals matchup. And for the Knicks tonight, must win, maybe. I don't know. I feel it could be, but I saw a tweet, and I honestly was thinking the same thing. And I don't want to hurt Philip's feelings here, but it kind of reminds me of their Boston series last year, where they won that first 2 games on the road, lost that game 3, and then there was some doubt placed in. They ended up winning that game 4 at home. Ended up taking a commanding 3-1 lead. Went back to Boston, lost that. Won in game 6 at home. So I think that could be a similar route we see in the NBA Finals. I still think they're going to win, but tonight does feel must win for them.
Just quickly, I'm going to say, though, I trust this Spurs team. I'm not saying you're wrong a little more than I trust last year's Boston team, though.
Really?
That is completely fair.
Yeah, man. Last year's, I know
that won the championship.
I know, but it just, I don't know. Last year,
Never trust his team.
Yeah, that's part of it, but I don't know, man. Last year, they panicked. Like, I don't see the Spurs panicking. I haven't seen the body language change. I felt like that Boston team panicked, same as this year's Boston team.
We'll see how it plays out. Game 4 tonight. Everybody enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. James, appreciate you. Philip, appreciate you. Everybody that tuned into the live stream early, thanks to you guys for getting up a little early and doing that. We'll be back Thursday, 12 noon. Normal time slot is the